Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You reached the Boho Info Show. Today, we're going to be still continuing talking about the Brian Gabby case. I think as time goes on, a lot of media won't cover it because they'll say it's like a dead end kind of thing. But we're going to cover as long as we can cover with any information that may be helpful for them for the capture of Brian. So, I know there's other YouTube channels here on the web that actually has gone out in the field, um, and evidently there seems like a lot of jealousy or something going on because I'm just here to help. I'm willing to go on any rides that night to do infrared with them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But evidently, I guess people are getting upset. It's a jealousy thing. Well, I found him first, or I found him first. I just want him to come in. Let's find out what happened. You know what I'm saying? Let's find out what happened to Brian Laundry. What happened to Gabby? Well, we know. The autopsy report reports it, but I put a different spin on all these stories that I'm seeing on YouTube or on other places, regular social media, or on the TV that you see on your newscasts and things like that. Because people, I mean, everything, authorities and everything are following everything by the book on this whole case. And because they think it's a textbook case, and it's really not. Okay. Now, we're going to look into other things. Okay. Maybe some of it is old news, some of it might be, overlapping into the new stuff. But I wanted to show you guys something. This is a map you can get on MapQuest for all the people out there looking for Brian. And Dog, if you're listening, or anybody that's willing to go get Brian, I guess, I want to be part of it, okay? I've already made my proclamation on it. I have other information on my YouTube, on my Twitter page, and on my Twitch TV. The Twitch TV gives detail. I have put the link in my comment area of how to get to my Twitch TV, which gives you details on this case. Now, when I give you guys information on this case, before I get in the program, I'm just going to say this. I make no claims medically, legally, or otherwise. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Do your own research. But we also make our opinions throughout this whole duration of any show that I have. So today is going to be like my opinion day, okay? Now, the comment section is open. If you have questions or you have any reports of anything new or eyewitnessing or anything like that, put that in the comment area. I will send it up to the authorities um, for the not the comment part, but for the people that have uh, seen them or something like that. But here's the thing: I've not really been really public on who I am, and I do it for a reason because who can you trust out there? Time's proven over and over that and Northport police screwed up a little bit and let them go, as what the public's saying. Maybe the three-letter agency that starts with F the same way, etc., and so on. So this is why I'm kind of staying south, but I'm still going to make the claim when he's found. Then I will come out, I guess, if it happens. But if I find him, I guess. Um, but I'm like a lot of other YouTubers. I'm doing this because I want to do this. I think it's something that needs to be situated. Okay. A lot of people know on my show, I do a lot of deep research with backup paper proof of where I get my stories and information and topics from, or digitally wise as well. And this case touched me like I touched many other millions of other Americans out there because my sister back in 2010 had a similar situation. But we caught her where she got into cardiac arrest as she was going in the emergency room, and she died eventually in the hospital, or she died when she came in under cardiac arrest. Now, people are not aware of, if you go to a bar, how easy it is for you to be drugged and then later dealt with later. Now, if just say, what if, you know, Gabby was drugged? Will the autopsy report reveal it? They should, with a toxicology report, right? Will they release it to the public? Probably not, because that's going to go for the case. But here's the thing: if Brian is found dead, they need to release all that information on everything with the toxicology report and everything else. If they find Brian dead, which I don't feel he's dead. Here's the thing, okay? I've got so much compression of information, it's unreal. Here's what the authorities are not realizing. Brian has beyond survival skills. It's not because of his bragging. It's the way I see his room is set up, the key points in his room of certain things. And there's certain videos and pictures out there on the web that shows a picture of a room. Okay? There's little hints in his room. He's beyond a survivalist. I'm going to label him as a, how do I call it? What's the word? Let me think. A prepper. And I think the Laundrie family are preppers, especially the mom, or the dad and the mom. The mom probably went along with it, but the dad more for it. Now, for those who don't know what a prepper is someone beyond a survivalist. Okay? They have not only stealth mode instincts and skills, but they are able to make things out of the wilderness for cooking, traveling, making boats to get down waterways, a place for them like a tent, but it's not a tent, all that stuff. Now, here's the thing. I'm down in Northport right now. I am then around what time was it? I think it was around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Down on US 41 heading south, going into Charlotte County. I saw three bicyclists bicycling down the northbound part of the sidewalk. Okay, and I always look at people. I look at them really close if I can, or stare at them to see if I can recognize anybody. I've been like that always. And then there was one single bicyclist that didn't go down the conventional way, meaning down a sidewalk. He was actually in the middle of the road bicycling. Now, I'm just saying, what if, Brian was on a bicycle last night, which I have now reports this morning that he was supposedly seen in Ocala on a bicycle with another person. Okay. Whether it's true, I don't know. Because there's so many people out there that's starting to look like Brian now, But if that was, let's just say, if that was Brian coming down on 41 in Northport at that time period, solo by himself, but not with a group of people. He's not, here's the thing. Usually he's not going to travel with a group of people because then that will make those people accessories to the crime, see? So he doesn't want to involve anybody. So he's going to be a solo bicyclist, right? So we saw him going northbound on 41. Okay. in the middle of the road. And I looked at the bike and I didn't think twice about it until I saw a picture this morning. And to me, it looked like the same bike that was in the picture, like a 10 speed, similar to the one, I'm not going to say exact, but I'm going to say similar to the one that was in the picture in the bedroom picture. Now, he was spotted with what? Black pants and black shirt and a different color kind of pants with a black backpack, right? Up in Ocala, according to these pictures this morning. Last night, I saw the same thing. Now, people are wondering, well, how long does it take to bicycle from here to Ocala? Well, I know this. If you go by a car, usually it takes about 2 hours to get to Tampa, and then Ocala is north of Tampa, so it should be 3 hours. But on a bike, you see what I'm saying? It could take about, what, 8, 10, 12 hours on a bike? Here's where the investigation really is not up to speed with. They don't know, from what I'm seeing on all the reports I'm hearing on all networks, how long it takes someone to hike from point A to point B. How long does it take for someone to walk from point A to point B? How long does someone take to bike from point A to point B? How many minutes, how many hours, etc., days, weeks, whatever. So you have to recalculate, like they did back in the old frontier days, of how long it takes from point A to point B. Okay? That's one thing. Now, let's look at something else. And I was going to go out in the woods at night, but I'm like, no, I'm by myself. I'm not getting help. Nobody wants me to go with them on the hunt. So, yeah, I'll do my thing during the day, I guess. But here's the thing, okay? I'm going to blow this map backwards to let you guys look at something. What you're looking at is a map of where their home is, okay? Which is right off of West Price Boulevard. Now, what's on West Price Boulevard? There's a lot of new area out there, right? There's some new businesses going up. There's a high school out in that area, so on and so forth, right? But here's the thing. If you look at, and I've got to get my pen, this is the location of their home, okay? There is a trail, whether you guys know it or not, that goes from here over to here, which is one of the parks, Makaachi or something they called it. Don't know the name offhand. I probably should have write it down. Did I write it down? Yes. Okay, I did. The Myakkahatchee Creek Environment Park. Okay. And then you got the Myakka River State Park, right? And then you got the Big Sloth Reserve. Okay. Here's the thing. I've been noticing a weird pattern. If you look at this map, and you can get this on MapQuest very easily, you can, right here is their home, and you can take this West Price Boulevard all the way over to the end, right? And there's your open land, which is part of what? The reserve, right? The Carlton Reserve. Now, the reason why they're not going to find him out here is because I don't think he's there. He might have been there in the beginning, but you guys got to understand something, okay? You got to get out of the mode of now survivalist. He's a prepper, which means if you do not know all your prepping skills, you won't survive. But if you do, you will. Here's the thing. If he has a bike, or even other people, one other person even helped him, which I'm going to get to that eventually, hopefully. He can easily get in town and get into any of the dumpsters of any food business, whether it's, and here's the thing people don't forget, Brian used to work for Publix, so he usually knows his own store schedule when the actual um, garbage men come in and pick up the dumpsters, which means he can go into those dumpsters, let alone any other business, restaurant, or grocery store that has a dumpster, like Aldi in Northport and other places, and pull food out of there enough to supply him forever. And you're going to say, ew, gross. How could he do that? Very easily. You can go on YouTube. This Brian is not stupid, I don't believe. This man is the most unusual but very smart stealth person. And I strongly feel that he is a prepper, beyond a survivalist. I think he's a prepper because I think what's happening, you got to understand something. These younger generation criminals are learning off the internet. They're learning off of YouTube. They're learning off TikTok. They're learning off all these things, of all these how to do's and other survival tips and things that's out there that people make in different types of videos and stuff. Okay. So my take is he's got unlimited supply of groceries anywhere in the vicinity of anywhere in the United States of any kind of city. Okay. It makes no difference where he's at, whether he's in Ocala or here in Northport, or if he's on the Appalachian Trail, or if he's in California or wherever, because he knows where he can access food even without money. And he can go to any dumpster he wants. Okay. Now, let's just say he did do that. Okay. Let's just say he did do that. In the meantime, so you're running into this reserve over here, right? Well, there's 3 areas that actually divides up into triangles. Now, you guys know me in my show. If you ever, lose track, you can always rewind and replay. Um, but and bring a piece of paper and pencil. That's why I tell you guys write notes down, because I am myself going to go over into another channel on the road later today and record. And if I can't record in live time, I will get pictures. Okay. And then I'll bring it back and we'll do another show on it later. But anyway, you have to look at the Myakka River State Park. And, if he has a canoe, which, there was reports that he possibly had some kind of boat. Later, they found out, yes, the parents or him and his dad or somebody had bigger boats. I think they were like 32 foot or something like that. And they're motorboats, which means motorboat can get you to point A and B faster than a canoe, for one. Number 2, you are limited though only to deep water part, which means rivers, lakes, canals, wide open ocean, stuff like that, which might be the reason why he was hopping over there, dog, off the other islands. Okay. Which I did in a previous show. I suspected he had a boat, which I am corrected right now that he, family did have one. But anyway, getting back to this, there's a triangle system here of parks, and it crosses over from where he was at. Okay, so all he has to do is go down West Price all the way to the end, and then there is trails and things. Let me see if I can find right here. Okay, so is this the one? Anyway, there's trails. I forgot. Okay, at the end, here's where that was. Okay, but there is an area that you can map out between the Big Slough Reserve, the Mahakachi Creek Environmental Park, and the Myakka River. That is a triangle. Pay attention to triangulars. Okay. There's a format of things I'm seeing starting to form a little bit in triangular motion. Now, here's the thing. You got to look at his past with, and remember, triangle, the shape triangles. through the investigation. Okay. Um, you have to look at his past by his drawings. His drawings gave away a lot of evidence of where he was going. One of the drawings in my past show, if you look into my Twitch TV, there was a painting where it looked like it was in a field. He was the scarecrow. He's sitting next to, um, Gabby, which was something else he made into. And then over on top it looked like a bunch of islands. I believe I posted that one in uh, Twitch on one of my shows. You'll have to search that one because I don't have time right now to deal with that. But anyway, timeline deals with triangular situations. Okay. Now, if you go to the other end of Price, okay, way, way down here, okay, which is we were looking at the west end, but now we're looking way at the east end, okay, which is near 75, okay. And down here on the other opposite side of 75, on the east end, all the way down, which it goes into East Price, right? Okay. If you go to East Price over to Raintree Boulevard, which way over here, okay, there's an underpass. Now, I've been in the area long enough to know about this, a lot of back road area, and especially this area here. I wasn't an ATM or ATV person, okay, with a four-wheeler thing, but there's a lot of running out here with that, okay. I know about party spots, because in the 80s, a lot of kids did party spots out here in the woods, okay. Well, over here by the underpass of Raintree Boulevard, that goes under I-75, and you cross over here, and there is what they call there is an actual trail called Power Line Trail. It's where a lot of the ATV people on their four-wheelers or three-wheelers go out there and spin around in the dirt and whatever and do their thing. I'm not one of those people, though. But it's called South Power Line Grade. That is an actual trail. These triangular motions are areas of him hiding out. A lot of these triangular areas are where he's hiding out. Okay. And he's moving. He's moving around. Now, you have to look at Brian's past in his youth. What did he like to do a lot of? Was he into motorcycles? Was he into ATV? If he does, he knows about all this back road area, right? He probably has buddies that were on ATVs. Maybe to this day, he still knows some. Maybe some are still out there, doing their thing, okay? And here you want to triangulate where the area is. Then we have another, that's just this corner. This is like the east corner area of Raintree and I-75 and Price Boulevard, all out in that area. Okay. Then you have another triangular area, which is behind Veterans and Orlando and Raintree area. Okay. And I know that area is starting to get developed off of Veterans, that I do know. So my take is I don't think he'll be too far into the woods, okay? Because he can carry as much supplies as that backpack can hold in food if he's at any kind of um, dumpster, right? Or he can carry as much bags as he can possibly carry on a bike or even an ATV if he had someone helping him that way. Okay. So these might have been areas in the beginning where he might have went at or periodically come back and forth for, but these are what they call the four triangle areas in this region, which is part of Charlotte County, Sarasota County, and DeSoto County. They call it the tri-county triangle system, I guess is what some of the kids call it when they're out partying in the back roads, I guess. So that's one thing. And here's the thing. Here's the other thing. We need, if we find I know this sounds really crazy, but I already approached one already yesterday. Um, there is homeless people out, and if you see them on bikes, you know who they are because they have a lot of sometimes junk or little junk that they carry. And usually you can actually say, hey, do you need help, or do you need something to eat? And then, would you like some food, or, because you'll see them, they're like dirty or not very well cleaned and stuff. And I approached one, and he identified himself as Rick, and it was in the Charlotte County line, just really close to the Northport line, over off of Concord and 41 area. And I says, I didn't walk up to him. I'm in my vehicle, so I'm in my area of safety. You know what I mean? And he was just sitting, on the ground by a water holding pond kind of thing. And I says, "You need help with anything?" And he's like, "No." I says, "You look." I said, and I noticed him there for about 3 or 4 days. Like he was camping out. And usually homeless camp, in their area for, a little bit of time for about 2 or 3 days. So you have to look at the homeless that way, right? And it was just bad luck on them, maybe, I don't know. But you know, I've seen them in the past, and how to help them and stuff like that. And I asked him. I said, Are you hungry, and or you want something to drink? Are you need food?" And he's like, "No, I'm okay." And he's just sitting there, but he has a cell phone. So here's the thing: homeless people will have cell phones, and you got to remember, if they come in town, they're gonna come in town at night. They're going to use either them walking or usually most likely on a bike. This is how Brian is moving, on a bike, like a homeless person. Most businesses have some kind of outside electrical plug. Okay. A lot of businesses have outside electrical plugs to plug in your electronics in. Okay. Some are 360, some are 240, some are whatever. I don't know. But it's highly possible that that homeless man was plugging into a business or has a solar charger, just like I described in previous shows, to charge up his cell phone. So if the homeless people have cell phones, Brian has a phone. Our authorities have to learn the tactics of the homeless and learn the tactics of a prepper, because this is how Brian is getting around, moving, and surviving and feeding himself. Now, think about Northport, okay? This is where the parents' home is. And not too far away is Northport Middle School right there, right? I'm going to go further down so you can see the difference. Okay. So, right here is their home. Right here is Sumter Boulevard and all those businesses. Okay. So all he has to do is not too far away. Is go to all those dumpsters right there, right, to get food, whatever he wants, right? Okay, and then make his way on down the street, right? And you got Northport Middle School, which is a huge area, and then you have Little Salt Springs Park Pond right over there. Are you feeling me yet? Okay. Now, if you want to know the location from 75, right down here in the corner. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Down here in the corner is his home. All he has to do is West Price, all the way up to what's the street here? North Sumter Boulevard, and it goes to I-75. And check this out. You can go over North Sumter Boulevard over I-75 and then look at all these streets up here. And yes, all the way to the end to either Estate Drive or Elkhorn Drive Avenue is all part of the preserve area. Anything north of that. Now, here's the thing. He just won't go out in the open like that. He has to do it by his trails. So you need to follow trail books of Florida if he's, everybody's thinking he's in Florida. Okay? For those who think he's in Florida. Okay? Now, I did find out that there is over in the other triangle, the Eastern Triangle, which is near I-75, Raintree Boulevard, and East Price Boulevard. There is a homeless camp out there. I don't remember what the street was, but it's on the west side of 75, I believe, out in this region here. Now, you have to look at the package that Mr. and Mrs. Laundry get in the mail. Okay, right now the the three-letter agencies are not opening their mail. They should, because in those packages are key clues for Brian, things for Brian probably. And look at the size of a cell phone. If you send a cell phone through the mail, what size package is it going to go in? If you're going to send a tent through the mail or a canopy, because I witnessed a tent and a canopy out there. What size box will come through UPS, Amazon, whatever delivery system is out there? And from the past on people reporting about their mail and stuff that they did get big packages delivered to their home. The size of those packages matches up to a tent or a canopy size type of system. I will take pictures of one that I have that I use for like garage sale stuff and how big an actual package could be. Okay. Honestly, I don't understand why the authorities are not checking out all their mail and packages, for one. Okay. I mean, honestly, I don't know how much more common sense is going on with this case and why it's such a cover job. Okay. But to me, it stinks to high heaven. There's so much suspicion, and honestly, the parents need to be arrested for aiding and abetting, honestly. But that's just my opinion. All right, now you're going to say, well, what does triangles have to do with anything? Okay. When you are prepping, you're reading a compass and you're triangulating your position, correct? Okay. And you want to know the point of origin to the point of return to that, place that you started at, right? A lot of people out there don't know how to read compasses. I still have problems. I use digital, unfortunately, but there's other people out there that can do it by the mirror, okay, of triangulating things. Right now, I'm not hearing no departments doing this with Brian at all. None. So we have to look at Brian's background Or is everybody still with me? Okay, good. Let me answer some questions before I continue. Uh, I got high pitch noise. I don't know. It might be a fan or something I got running here. Dumpster wise, yes. And that's the other thing, too, Carol. I want to bring up a very valid point. Many people, or even just the people of our authorities, are not investigating the homeless people and all the lots that we have that are vacant. Now, yes, now they're starting to get into all the laundry's property that they sold. Yes, they're checking out things. Yes, there was a lead last night in Venice about some woman identifying possibly Brian hiding underneath her condo, which has like a crawl space underneath it. And then some YouTuber went out there to check it out. They couldn't see nothing, but they stayed there to see if there was something. Later, the authorities came in, all that stuff. Um, so from what I'm seeing on his pattern, he's going back to comfortable places that he knows. Okay. So he's going back to all the properties. He could be rocking it back and forth. He's going to places that he knows. So it's going to be hiking trails that he knows, places he's traveled in the United States, family that he knows in the United States and other countries. And it's going to be, all that kind of thing. Let's see what else. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine on that one, Carol, on the locations there. Let's see. And it says, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Carol. That's what I'm saying. So if the FBI can open their letters and warrants and their mail without warrant, and the mail's being tracked, then why aren't they doing it? Why isn't all of Mr. and Mrs. Laundry's mail being looked at? All of it, including all the packages, right? You're not hearing nothing on the media on that. So that's a good question. Yeah, you're waiting for physical evidence. I'm feeling you on that one too. I think there's more to it, a lot more to it. And I gave you my take on that earlier in the show. I think, here's the thing with everything going on in our politics right now, I think this is interconnected with it. Okay. And I think this is why they're keeping it hush hush. Because why? They've got an elite family that's worth $5 million on a juicing company. And, you know, Gabby's family isn't, you know. You've got to look also, too, in the background of Brian. Brian read a lot of books, okay? They're morbid books, as I would classify them. But if you look in his social media accounts, I don't know if it was TikTok or who it was, but I reported it on an earlier show that I found that one of his followers um, was into witchcraft, black magic. Okay, as I would say it is. But here's the thing: every religion has two sides, a good side and a bad side. Okay, no matter what it is, even if it's the witchcraft stuff. Okay, there's a good side and bad side. Um, Everybody's gonna say, "Well, that's all bad." Well, everybody's got their opinions, and I know there's a lot of Bible thumpers out there, but you got to look at the whole picture, everything. Okay. Here's the thing: if Brian is triangulating his escape, which is basically what he's doing, okay, and there's different pinpoints of this area in Southwest Florida, from you know Sarah or Venice south into like Charlotte County area a little bit. Then I'm like, okay, and he has a dark background. This is what I thought popped up. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Okay, but it's a Rosicrucian order, and it is one of those secret societies out there amongst other secret societies that is part of the Freemasons. And you don't even have to be a Freemason to be part of this. Okay. It just happened to be one of those branches that can go along even with the Freemasons. Now, I do there, people can do their own investigation on it, but there is Freemasons in Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, and Northport. Here's the other thing. I can't, they've been blocking me off of Facebook, so I can't get into it, but you can do a search for Rosicrucians in Northport, and there has been posts of Rosicrucian orders in Northport doing different events, which tells me there is a Rosicrucian order. Now, when I looked into it, I actually saw the connection to the Catholic Church over there. Someone in there in the Catholic Church in Northport has a connection to the Rosicrucian order. Now, you're going to say, well, what is this? Well, it's okay. All right. I want you to look at something really close. See that right there? That little pyramid thing? I want you to see something. And this is going to sound crazy probably, but hang on. Hang on. Let me see if they'll have anything on it. Maybe they'll do it this way. Let's see. Anyway, the Rosicrucian Order here in Northport, I saw a connection with Facebook, had events posted, all this stuff. You can go to this page. It's www.rosicrucian.org, and then you can go into the history part, right? I want you to see something. See that right there? That triangle with roses and vines? Wasn't that on Gabby's arm? Not the top part, not the top part, just the bottom triangle looking thing, right? It says together the rose and cross represents experiences and challenges throughout life that well lived. Thus our name and symbols we represent an ancient fraternity of Rosicrucians perpetuating the true tradition of Rosicrucian movement through centuries of past to the present. Now, what if the parents of Gabby did not know that she was involved with the Rosicrucians? What, I don't know what faith or religion Gabby is, let alone Brian is. But with Brian being a darker person, okay, this would add up more for him. You know what I'm saying? And it says here that, let's see, it deals with all kinds of different mysteries and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into it because I'm not here to educate you guys. You guys can look it up yourself of what it's about, okay? But let me see if they have any other stuff. Let's see what local groups they might have. They might post them. I don't know. But I saw the one connection there to Facebook, which was posted in Northport, Florida, with the Rosicrucian events. And all they have to do is go into and search for Rosicrucians in Northport, and the events will come up where they're at. Oh, it does have a map. Okay, here we go. So let's get into it then. Maybe we can locate one. Because from what I'm finding out, okay, so they must have had a smaller chapter or something. That's what I thought. So there's one up there in near Tampa, the Aquin Peace Lodge. Now remember we were hearing about how, his family went up camping there over at the campground near St. Petersburg there, right? I'm just saying, you know, I mean, here's the thing. Could uh, Gabby's or could Brian's mom or dad be Rosicrucians? Or could Brian be one? And Brian wanted Gabby to put that, like tattoo on her arm, and it wasn't finished. You know what I'm saying? Here's the thing too. Usually elites, leave symbolism codes, right? And they also do symbolisms, right? So using that triangle system, you go back to the map here and you triangulate all the different areas he's could have been in. Where he's at now, you know, he's on the road at night. And the other thing is that Northport Police and all police in the United States that's on alert, okay, for Brian, need to look at that factor that he's using alternative methods of transportation, like a bike. Now, we're hearing reports also on that he is possibly in Mexico, right? All right, again, if you want the address on this, it is www.rosicrucian.org. I'm not going to put it in anything because I'm verbally telling you where it's at. All right. Here's the other thing I'm going to try to find for you guys. If you go into, hang on a minute, I got to find it. Okay, while we're talking about that, we're going to go back to talking. Yes, I've got a, my thing is so long. I keep all my information and it's filling my computer. You know, it is what it is. But here's the other factor too. I've got to talk about this while that's loading. Is I want you here. I'm going to take you down here, and I want you to look at this one video. It's by Evil Exist. Okay, and I know I'm trying to. Oops, not that one. Yeah, Popcorn Planet always comes on with his thing too, amongst other people. But right here, I'm pointing to this person right here, and this guy right here. Now, this is an Evil Exist on YouTube, okay? And this was a 2019 work video that you can look at. It talks about, you know, it just basically was an interview. But I've noticed this with the Grand Teton. These two people were at the Grand Teton. Okay. And when Brian and Gabby were hanging on to hands crossing that little river by the Grand Teton there, this person, this girl, this lady, or whoever she is, was in front. And then later you saw this one in the back. I think these two are an interest that the three-letter agencies need to go after and interview, because when Brian is on the bike, I don't see him alone. He's with another guy. Now, I don't know if this is like a hiking buddy, if this is a friend. I'm not sure who this is. But I think it's something of interest that they need to find out who these two characters are. And then, oh, wait a minute, maybe I do have that person. Hang on a minute, let me see something. Give me a minute here. Something else is loading up. See, this is how exciting the show is. You just get current crap all the time coming in. You know what I'm saying? Um, and also to just let you guys know, I do have stuff on Telegram with the Brian and Gabby case. You just got to filter through some of the other news stuff. So if you are not a member of that, better get over there too and follow that. And then, like I say, later today, I will go out and do my thing. Ah, okay. All right. I think I know who this person is. Right here. Okay. Amanda Jackson. She's on Twitter. She's got 9 followers. I'm kind of curious to see who that is. Let me go back to that. If it shows it. Come on, please show it. So Amanda Jackson with this other guy, maybe? Let me see. Hang on a minute. All right. Let's go back to that picture there. sorry I have to do the show this way, but I don't have any equipment. So, um, but I want you to get a good look at that. And what I'll do is I'll play this. Let me turn it up a little bit. Okay, it's up. Now I'm going to stop there for a minute because I noticed in when this person did this interview, um, the camera was like steering towards the left, like it was trying to focus on that couple. So I want to go back there again. I want you to check it out. See how the camera was starting to take it that way, right? Where she wanted to get it on an angle. And I think it was because the camera person was trying to pick up the reactions on these two. So watch this again. See,
I think it's like a good what's like the first thing that comes to mind when you do it? But I think I'm healthy. Definitely empowered. Like, I don't know, she's just so thoughtful. She's very quick on her feet and
so you see the angle? The angle was to include those two people. Like the camera person suspected those two people and saw the same thing I was seeing, that those two people were at the Grand Teton. All right. Now, that's the person, I believe, right there. Amanda Jackson in Twitter, and nickname is at Nick UMZ0528. Okay. And here's what's interesting in her stuff. She's like at Rose. Well, Rose is also code word for Rosicrucian. Okay. In this. And it says, then she puts out funny little tweets about Brian and all that, right? And a lot of stuff that deals with Chris Laundry and other things, okay? I want to see if this will go into the followers part of it, maybe. See who follows her. Because you know how I do my stuff and look at things. And you're seeing this in live time. So. But as for that video, it's in Evil Exists. Okay. And it's the one with Gabby Petito in 2019 work video. Okay. So here is her followers list. Okay. So I think her followers list as well needs to be looked at, as well as herself. But I thought it was kind of interesting because of the hairdo. You know, I don't have an afro, but I guess she kind of has that afro kind of look on her. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was in the video, and you know, she has the same thing. So I'm wondering if this Amanda Jackson and the male counterpart that was with her at Gabby's work is the same, and it looks like the same people that was at Grand Teton. Now, usually if you're couples, you usually walk together as a couple, even if you're a little bit further apart. But the Amanda one seemed like she was way out front, while the guy counterpart was like behind um, Gabby and Brian. Okay. To me, couples usually don't do that, knowing behavior wise. Okay. Just saying, I'm putting it out there. Okay. Now, let's see, what was the other thing I want to show you guys here that I thought was kind of interesting? Give me a minute here. Okay. Am I still on? Any other questions, real quick? Let's see. Okay. So Carol says Rose is also Gabby's friend who has a criminal background and drug abuse. Okay, very good to know. So we'll say that Rose could be a suspect as well, right? Because here's the thing, in the beginning, I told you guys about Brian and his thing with mushrooms and all that stuff, and you know, being around cow patties and things, you can get mushrooms, and they do weird things like peyote or something. I'm hearing. Um, but anyway, uh, maybe Rose was the one that I'm not. I'm hate to put this out there like this, but maybe Rose was the one that maybe helped Brian, kill Gabby. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe there was a thing going on between them two. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, something that you guys. I don't have time on. I've got very limited time, so I do as much as I can for you guys. Here's the other thing, and no, you guys don't need to send me any money or anything, even though I got a PayPal account. It's always posted on my YouTube. You do whatever you want to do. Here's the thing, though. We're going to go into something else because he likes to travel around. He doesn't like to be in one place very long, which makes it harder for any law enforcement to do anything to get him. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys, I'll have to find it here, is going back to some of the older stuff that I found. Hang on a minute. Let me find it. And you're going to say, well, how is this going to help catch Brian? You got to find patterns. We're at a point where you have to find patterns. Okay. Find who he's socializing with, who happens, you got, these YouTube followers. Sometimes you got YouTube followers that, follow you every place. Maybe this Amanda person was a YouTube follower of them. I'm just saying. But here's the thing, if Amanda Jackson is involved with this Brian and Gabby case, maybe she was buying and selling drugs through Brian, okay? Or maybe they gave some to Gabby and then she died, you know? You got to understand the younger generation. They have these weird pills that they take sometimes to give them that high effect at concerts, I guess, and they trip out like peyote or something. I forgot what they call them pills, but oh man, I did research on it a long time ago. Oh gosh, it's like acid or something. But maybe that's why Gabby died. I don't know. I mean, to me, this Amanda Jackson and her male counterpart needs to be investigated. You know, I just strongly believe that. Okay. They need to find her. And even though she's got a criminal past, I mean, if it's, drug related, even, that makes it even more workable in the case. You know what I'm saying? So, goodness, where is it? I gotta go all the way back down again. It does this every time. Bear with me while I'm trying to find it because I'm finding all this stuff. You see my huge library. It's huge on information that I have on my shows. I don't show you any bullshit. I've got everything documented of everything I've shown you guys in shows, and then some. So it goes way, 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 way. And most of my shows I'll put in a link of where I'm getting my information, but today is verbally. So that's why if you don't get where I'm getting it from, you have to reload stuff. All right, let's get to this other one now. Now, this is the other part. We're hearing reports that Mr. Laundry, Brian's dad, had a friend. Um, oh, excuse me. Um, that he supposedly are saying, and people are saying that, Brian went to Mexico. Here's where you guys don't understand something. The cartel family is like a mafia family. Okay? Remember, for those older folks or younger people that are learning about mafia, back in the 1920s when they had the shoot up, bang, bang kind of thing going on in the streets in New York, okay? That's mafia, right? We still have it in the world. It's interconnected with everything. It's like this root system of nastiness in the globe, okay? Um, it can be good, can be bad, depends on what they do, but mostly bad from what I'm seeing from the news. But um, anyway, Brian's dad had a friend out of in Mexico, and everybody's saying that Brian went to Marinda, Mexico, because supposedly they had spotted him in a Mexican restaurant eating Mexican food and all that stuff, right? So in my past shows, I gave you guys reports about all his family, where they're located in the United States, since one was up in Canada, right? So we look into this, you can see, and you can go into Lincoln now and look at uh, the Laundry family, right? And I know eventually they'll probably take me out and block me out of this one, like they do everything else, because they don't want you to see the truth, right? But I found Roberta Laundry, okay, North Bay, Ontario, Canada. Remember I told you there was a family up in Canada? Might be a couple, in fact, okay? And I told you in my last show that the Appalachian Trail comes really close and almost crosses over, but it doesn't cross over. It just comes really close to the Canadian border up near Vermont and Maine area, which is easy for Brian to escape. I also said to Canada, though, wise now. I also said in my past show that if you look at Brian's grandfather and all his background and stuff, he has something called being a passport specialist, which means he has um, information access, working a business, whatever it is, information of easily obtaining a passport, a fake passport, and passing it through customs or whatever, okay, border patrol, whatever, and also to get in and out of trouble easily or to avoid trouble. So I think what happened is Brian made the trip all the way up Appalachian Trail, went to Grandpa's house, got all the passports he needs, whether it's to any place in Mexico or South America and Central America and Canada. And now he's sliding all up and down the whole Western hemisphere. Okay. Remember, I told you even in other shows that doesn't deal with this Brian Laundry. In other shows, the elite are slippery and slimy, and they avoid the law so that they can make more money. Okay, this is exactly the perfect example of what's happening with Brian that is happening with our elite. Are you seeing the side by side same situation? Okay. Now, if Brian went to Mexico, whether it's to see his dad's friend down there or something else, I'm going to say something else because I think it involves drugs and human trafficking and other things. I've suspected that since the very beginning. And since I just showed you on this show that Amanda person and knowing that they have a drug background kind of thing, I think their funding on stuff is dealing with drugs with Brian and getting the finances for it. And maybe the Laundry family, the Misters and Mrs., um, more like the Mister, since he seems like he has a business mind on him. The business mind is connected to all his family members that run from Canada all the way down into South America with family connections. What better way to traffic drugs, arms, and human, um, uh, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like we stumbled on a huge problem that wasn't supposed to happen. It's like hitting that tripwire. And I think the Laundry family was that tripwire that now has been tripped. And now all of a sudden, all this stuff is starting to come out. And the problem is the local authorities don't know how to handle this big problem. And it makes no difference if it's, local as in police to state level. They don't know how to handle it because this case comes to an international Interpol problem. Okay. At the same time, we have three-letter agencies that don't know how to tackle this problem because it becomes an international Interpol situation. Anytime that you deal with an international criminal, which I believe Brian Laundrie will be, he's kind of like the duplicate of Biden's son. Hate to say it, but maybe in that retrospect. So he's going to be slippery, slimy the same way. Okay, he's following the same trail. And why? Brian loves trails, right? So they can call on Interpol for Mexico and Interpol for Canada, okay? But they better call it for Central America and all the way down to South America. Now there was reports that Brian's sister Cassie had the husband had connections and family in Guatemala, which supposedly reports that he might have been in Guatemala. Well, where's he getting his money from? Well, in order for the Laundrie family to hide their finances so that law enforcement of any sort, of any level, federal to local, doesn't see it, he's going to do business deals with business partners, right? And then that's how the money shifted down to Brian for his needs. Total corruption, worse than any kind of evil or other criminalities that are out there. Okay. And also another thing, look at the reaction to Mr. Laundrie's face. Do you see him crying that his son is dead? Do you see him upset that his son is missing for over a month? Or even the mom. They show no remorse at all for Gabby's death. They don't even show remorse even for his son. I mean, these are the most obvious signs that our three-letter agencies are overlooking. I mean, they're not even getting mad. It's like they're on drugs. Are you feeling me? Now, here's the other thing. Look into the attorney, Steve Bertolini, Tololino, I guess. I don't know how you say that. But there's connections there with Brian Laundrie's father's friend. Are you seeing the picture? Are you connecting the dots yet? So what we have on our hands is an international criminal, Brian Laundrie, and Cassie messed up the operation probably on of laundering, money laundering, and drug laundering, and human trafficking laundering. Yeah. Why else would he be in Mexico? Why else would he be in Central or South America? Why else would he be in Canada? Because he's doing all three. You're going to say, okay, well, let's get to the bigger problem. How are we going to get him? The problem is we got irresponsible south border agents on right now because they're allowing 100,000 or more illegals through our border. At the same time, we have no border wall up to even stop him all the way. So I'm very sure that he knows that pinpoint areas on the south border where he can just cross over, where there's no checkpoints. He's going to cross over into different countries without checkpoints. Whether he does it on the Canadian border and do it through a forest, like I told you, through the Appalachian Trail using that method, but not directly going around in a different circle kind of way, or going to the south border and not going through a checkpoint and going through it that way. Same thing when you go from Mexico into Central America. They're not going to have checkpoints anywhere. They're going to keep going. Then it'll be in South America. What kind of checkpoints do they have down there? Probably nothing, zero. Otherwise, they wouldn't even allow this 100,000 to come up from South America in the first place. And then you got South America. Now, I know for a fact there's bus systems that run from the United States into Mexico, and there's bus systems that run from Mexico into Central America. And he could have been on one of those buses very easily and blended right in with the Spanish people. So I think what we need to do is open this up, this case, since we have a complete corruption snow job happening, and put at least $1.5 million bounty on his head. Because here's the thing. There's probably 25 families cartel in Mexico alone, not mentioning any other militants that are in Central or South America area. Once you get that bounty high enough, they'll probably turn him in for the money. Which is why I'm not saying he might be in Mexico right now, because Mexicans want the bounty. They want money. The more money, the better. And if all of Mexico is put on alert, especially in Merida, Mexico, okay, to look for this guy and turn him into the authorities, basically hogtie him and turn him into authorities, and our authorities go down to get him. What can I say? It is what it is, But anyway, check out the connections on Lincoln on all the laundries. There's several different laundries on Lincoln. Check it out. Check out the connections of where the locations of each of those are, what kind of business they're in, and then look at their business interconnections. It's like doing a corruption reverse money lead. You look at all the companies they're connected to and acquaintances that they talk to. This is the professional setting wise. Okay. And this is how you do it professionally beyond the regular textbook thing. So again, any uh, police force or persons out there looking for him that's dealing with the police force, this is not a textbook case. This is uh, throw that right out the window. This is an actual corruption case connection, and it has to be looked at in the same manner as um, Mr. B's son there in the big house, um, with all the same similar stealth mode corruption reverse money trail connection situations. And it makes no difference who they're connected to, whether it's another business person, whether it's a legal person, whether it's a medical person, whether it's importing and exporting things, whatever it is, all of it is compiled and put together. Anyway, I know I'm beyond my hour show. I hope you enjoyed what you had. Please pass this on to people. Any other questions before I go? Let's see. All right, let me go back to Carol because Carol has some questions here. That's true. They could have burned the situation on the drug deal. Let's see. Uh, yes, Interpol has been dealt with. Let's see. Here's a problem. They really need to arrest Carol, Brian's parents, and put the squeeze on both them and the grandfather, especially the grandfather. He lives in North Carolina, I believe. And they need to haul them all in under, let's put it this way, aiding and abetting Brian. Because if they say, oh, I don't know where they are, but they get a cell phone in the mail, yeah, okay. Or if they get a tent or a canopy in the mail, yeah. Or if they get any kind of camping gear of any sort, or RV stuff, or any RV parts, that's all aiding and abetting. Okay. They need to haul them all in. Even if Brian went to visit the grandfather, but the grandfather doesn't have none of the other stuff, that's still aiding and abetting because the grandfather didn't turn in Brian. That's still aiding and abetting. The FBI, three-letter agencies, etc., need to arrest the family, um, the mom and dad and the grandfather. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't leave Cassie out because Cassie evidently has a husband that's from Guatemala, and since Brian already went south border, yes, I think they need to be brought in too. Um, yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff, and I'm going to be going out in the field today, looking at this one area and see if I can remember what street that one tent and canopy is on. If I can re-find it, I don't know if I can because it was just an accident that I came across that. So I don't know if I can remember where it's at. If I can't, then I'll just get pictures and show you guys later that I was out in the field. Because I can't go live, I'm going to be using a different apparatus. Let's see. Here's evidence in the mail. If the FBI opens up the mail and finds out, let's say, that little camper that's in the driveway, and it's been sitting there, and they've already supposedly did a search on the inside of it and all this stuff. If the father, how men like to tinker with things, even gets a part for the truck, for the Mustang, for the camper or a boat of any sort, of anything, or gets anything for camping, that's enough to have evidence that they're aiding and abetting Brian. It can go down to the smallest nut and bolt. Okay, evidence is evidence, no matter how small or how large it is. All right, this is it. But now I gave you guys enough stuff to go on. We're gonna, I don't know. I'll do what I can for you guys. I don't know how I'm gonna give you information other than I'm gonna post it in Twitter and my Telegram page. If if I find Brian, just to give you word up, if I find Brian or I find a suspect that looks like Brian, I will get his picture and I will send it to Telegram in my Boho's info page in Telegram. Okay, so and then if I did find him, of course I'd have to call it in. But I'm not doing any calling in until I'm certain on anything. Okay. Anyway, this has been a good hour and a half. We'll get back with you guys at another time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Look into the stuff I'm giving you guys because I do a lot of cyber research. Oh, this is the other thing I forgot to tell you guys. Watch also, since we have the 3-letter agencies in the area, watch your internet for shadow banning. Okay. They're looking at anything and everything right now, and even your contacts and stuff. Okay. So I'm not saying to get scared, okay, because they're trying to find Brian, but I'm just saying. Okay. Anyway, look into what I told you about the map. Go to MapQuest, check all that out, and then the other stuff I gave you, and look into the Rosicrucian. Is any of the family members actual members? I haven't gotten down that rabbit hole to find out, but maybe some of the members are Rosicrucians. Maybe there was an event here that they went to in Northport since they live in Northport. Okay, that's all I'm going to leave you guys. Right? Check all that stuff out. You know where they live there in MapQuest. Anyway, this is all for now. I got work to do. I got to continue with the search. So this is Boho with the info. Brian, if you're out there, I'm coming for you. Talk to you later.